Oh, hi. Yesterday I continued the parking lot over here. Obviously, it's not finished, but yeah, we're gonna work on painting houses. We're gonna work on the parking lot. I just said that, but we have a small problem. I took care of two of the litter boxes yesterday, and I gotta do one today. But I'll have to do that after stream. But I did take care of their food and water, and wait, no. Um, well, I'm gonna put this back here because we just go and take the thing off for that one. Um, just a minute. Okay, now I think I can think. Um, I need to go upstairs first, and I am very sorry to have to start this way, but I'll be back. Okay, I am so sorry. I saw somebody else do that though. They just started their stream. Um, I want to say it was Flip. Um, anyway, he like, needed to go and started his stream, and it's like, why bother? In my case, it was why bother also, but it's because I want to stay on schedule, starting at 8 something in the morning. So I am pretty happy. I finally found that story piece I was looking for. And I can, well, it's a finished story, but I don't like some of the elements in it. And I'll have to fill them in with something else. I was kind of thinking that that I would go and add elements from what the rest of the family is doing that summer um because this is the summer before um I think this is summer before when um Mick's girlfriend broke up with him because she thought that he was um um Mick's legs haven't worked since before he was born. Nobody knows why, because every time they examine him, every time they examine him, it's like he should be up and walking around, but he's in a wheelchair. So his girlfriend breaks up with him, and he wants to prove that he's not as broken as she said he was. Because all of a sudden, her legs aren't working properly. And nobody really knows why. And, they're going to see all the regular experts, and the one that they need to see is Alan at the mansion. So, anyway, I think I want to add a few of those elements in there. And I didn't know that was going to do that. Seemed to be working just fine last night. So this is the very last row of houses that needs to be painted. I mean, repainted. And then after that, we'll probably finish out that parking lot set, and then we'll find a place for that church. I kind of want it. I kind of want it to where it's 3 streets back, so not that one or that one, but the one behind that. And like 3 streets in, too. It has to be in a, it has to be in a spot where Anthony would not have bothered to look there. Only problem is that I'm probably going to have to build it sideways from the way it's supposed to be. Like the church is supposed to be this a ways. Or, not this a ways. Sorry. This a ways. Front to back, but I think it's going to take up too much room, even if I build it correctly. Okay, so I've been working on my story today, and you're probably saying this is not Disneyland Adventures. Well, I did my video for Disneyland Adventures yesterday because I had to get all of my Game Pass games done. And actually, I was very, very happy about something. Okay, so I only play Power Wash Simulator once a month anyway, right? But I didn't really like to play it because I was getting nowhere. I was doing the same stuff for the same amount of pay, whatever. And it was, it was boring. And the dirt did not want to come off. Anyway, I wasn't getting anywhere. So they came out with Power Wash Simulator 2. So Power Wash Simulator 1 is no longer on Game Pass. My Golf with Your Friends that I love so much. Um, I didn't come up with the game, but I love it. Um, is also no longer on Game Pass. Ninja Turtles is no longer on Game Pass. So I love it, but I mean that's the one that hurts my wrist after a while anyway. So it's just certain moves hurt my wrist, and that's one of them. But yet I can do this all day long, and I can play Forza Horizon 6 and you know all the other games. Makes no sense to me. But anyway, I told my husband he can come down because I'm just playing Minecraft. It's not anything that you actually need to hear. Like when you're playing Dreamlight Valley, you might want to hear um the characters, come up to you and say, "Hiya, pal," and and there's venture to be had, and I'm gonna find it. I didn't do a very good voice today, did I? Um. I was fine until I started to do that voice. Anyway, I'm enjoying I don't want to say recreating, but it is recreating that voice. I mean, that voice. Recreating the story that I wanted to read, and then maybe that one will be on my phone when I want to read it. You know. Right now, I've got Sweet Revenge on there, which is apparently the book right after Solitary. It goes Esperanza's Party, The Island, Lessons in Love, Test in Love, Caught, Solitary, and apparently Sweet Revenge. Um, Previously it came later. So, at the moment, it's kind of weird because at the moment it's like all about Sean. I mean, not Sean. All about Jesse and Chantel, and then later it becomes later it becomes all about Raphael and Pepper. And no, I don't think him coughing actually did too much for um I don't think it derailed me. Okay. So I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna paint this house and this house and this house, this one, this one, this one. It's just the two-story houses take longer. This one, this one, this one. I don't think we're gonna get that far. This one, this one, this one. Oh yeah, we have to go back through and put the you see there's that this one. You see there's that. Well, I can't remember how many at the moment, but it goes like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 or 5. Let's find out. Looks taller to me. One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, okay. That's if those are examples. One, two, three, four, five. See, like that. We're gonna have to do that. Two, three, four, five. Probably tomorrow. Anyway, and then we'll probably come over here, finish this, and that, of course, and keep going. We're still gonna have the roads go that way, and what we're gonna try to do is make it to where, oh yeah, and those. I didn't know how else to do it to get electricity to the hotel, so I came up with this. And it keeps going, I haven't been able to figure out how it connects to the building, but we'll figure that out eventually. Um, yeah, I need to finish my breakfast. I, I made my peanut butter toast, so I'd have something in my stomach when I took my medicine. Um, I think it is working. It's just that it doesn't feel like it is. Because it was either yesterday or the day before that my nose was running. It's summer. It should not be running like it's winter. Anyway. So the story that I'm working on right now, I'm still working on Test and Love, audioing it and making sure it sounds good and everything, and making sure that if they went left to get to school, that I didn't say that they went right, because that would be confusing. Um, or if they're going home by way of the gas station, because they're running out, make sure that it says, make sure that it says that they went out of the driveway and to the right and then the left, instead of the left and then the right, you know. I have a bad habit of doing that. And making sure all the your, like if it's saying that's your car, it says YOUR. And if it's you're going to the store, it says YOU apostrophe RE. Yeah, I've mentioned that several times, and I hope that other people learn from my, my brain's inability to tell the difference. I actually know the difference. It's just sometimes my brain, when I'm writing, just decides, oh, we'll put that in there. Who cares? She's not going to notice. And then I do. I've noticed that a whole lot of people who stream their video games like this have a actual gaming chair, and I have a problem with that. Not that people have gaming chairs, just that I can't sit in one. It starts to hurt my back after a while, and it's no fun. I mean, if we got one of those like really cool gaming chairs, that's $1,000 or whatever, it might be good, but I doubt it. We went and got a really nice chair from Office Depot when we first moved into this place, so I'd have a place to sit. And I used it for a couple of days, and my back was really, really sore. So I've been sleeping sitting in and sleeping in my recliner. 'Cause, well, I don't know that the back hurts my back, but I don't want to give it a chance. Maybe in the next place. I doubt it though, 'cause, um, like I have to go to sleep to a story. He likes those stupid HOA Karen videos and puts those on so he can fall asleep, and I think it's gonna clash. Okay, I'm gonna finish my breakfast real quick. Sam's eyeing it like it looks really good. Yeah, for a while there we were having those little French bread pizzas for breakfast, and they're really good. But he tried to eat it while I went up to, when I went upstairs, and I had to stop him. Okay. Anyway, the book that I'm working on right now is, Holly is the granddaughter of Sean and Ashley. She's one of the first three grandkids because they're triplets. And so it'll make, when you finally get to read it a long time from now, um, it'll make sense why certain things are going to be happening. Because the whole entire book was only like 277 pages. So since all of that was storyline, no chapter title, none of that stuff. Since that was the way it was in that book, you know that the book's only 277 pages, which means that it is 23 pages too short, at the very least. But I was kind of thinking that it needed more storyline. It needs to explain. Since there's no book before it at the moment, it needs to explain why why Holly's going out with Brian and flirting with Jeff. She's one of those girls that she knows what she wants, but she's going out with like every guy on the planet to see, to make up that perfect image person. Who what guy would be the best for her. And she is going to find him. I'm going to tell you that. But, there needs to be some kind of storyline behind that to, like, explain. So, she is literally a love him and leave him at the beginning of the story. She has boyfriends, but she never keeps them. So, um, you're like left in agony. Will she find the one? Will she find, will she find the one? Uh, will she keep him? You're just left in agony. You don't know. I said that she'll find him, but, will she keep him? You don't know. So, like I said, she's triplets, so the thing is, though, that they cannot shut it out like Jesse. Jesse can shut out, like if Sean and his wife are, having a date in their bedroom, Jesse could shut it out and have his own date with his wife, or or if there's something private that Jesse really doesn't want to talk about, he can shut Sean out and Sean doesn't get to know. Or like, birthday presents, Christmas presents, stuff like that. Sean wouldn't get to know. They don't keep secrets, but Sean would not get to know if Jesse wanted to shut him out for some reason. So, this is really cool because we're finally on this street. It's like, I've been waiting for this day. But then we gotta go back to that one street where I forgot to put, where I didn't bother to put the street lights. I was looking at the street going, what is wrong with this picture? And then I'm like, street lights. And you're probably wondering why I don't set it up with the, redstone idea that I had before. And that's because my April 20, that was the last time it saved correctly, April 2024. Somewhere, assuming that I wasn't working on it, like, assuming that I wasn't working on it the Monday before and then, didn't play it the rest of the week. I went on there, the next time I went on there, presumably a Monday. I'm just gonna guess it was a Monday. I don't know. But anyway, I went on there and nothing. There's big gaping holes. I can't say nothing, but like right here. There may not have been anything here to here. Just nothing. Piles and piles of nothing. There wouldn't have been the white. It would have been, back to green grass. And I'm trying to prevent that this time. I'm like, heck no. I've got a dumb question. I'm turning that down. I think that's really funny because our teacher said that she was 15 when she wrote The Outsiders. And then now on this version, I turned it down and I could still hear her clearly as if it was on 22. Anyway. She just distracting the heck out of me. Yep. There. I've been at 16. Um. So anyway, on this copy of The Outsiders, to have a like a generic AI voice, but it sounds really good. But anyway, it says something like this is The Outsiders, and an introduction by the author, and then it goes to S.E. Hinton, and she sounds a whole lot older than she did when she was in the Outsiders movie with Patrick Swayze and Ralph Macchio and Tom Cruise and I can't remember who played Soda. If you don't remember who Tom Cruise is, Johnny on Dirty Dancing, and Bodie on Point Break. He's Jack Cruz on Black Dog. He's somebody in Roadhouse. I haven't seen Roadhouse. I also have not seen. That has nothing to do with Patrick Swayze, but I also have not seen. I think it's Urban Cowboy. And I mention that because within the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie, he slaps Sissy, and I'm like, hey, no. He slapped her or punched her or something like that. And I'm like, there's a lot of people who love this movie. How could they love this movie? He just hurt Sissy. So I'm like, no, I'm not watching that. Um, you know, you could argue that, then why do you watch Pretty Woman? But that's because nothing actually happens. Stucky, I think his name is, starts to try to, but oh well, yeah, he did punch her, but that was toward the end of the movie, or punched her, slapped her, something like that. But that was toward the end of the movie. I don't know why it seems okay there, but the other one it was not okay, and I'm like, no, not watching the rest of this movie. Well, I don't remember what movie I'm talking about. It might have been The Quiet Man with. Hold on. What is his name? Quiet Man, and he was with the elephants too. Yeah, but what's his name? John Wayne. Oh, yeah, okay. Um, so, John Wayne's actual name is Francis, but it's the boy version, not the girl version. But he's named after his aunt, if I remember correctly. But, there's been so many people in movies that are named Francis, but, he could have gone by Frank instead of John Wayne, but apparently wanted to be John Wayne. Well, it's like Vin Diesel is, I want to say Mark Vincent, but there was already an actor, or, yeah, I think there was already an actor that was Mark Vincent, like, um, back in the, I want to say back in the, like, Marlon Brando days, and he didn't want everybody to think that it was him, that guy was him, or that he was that guy. No, like that he was that guy. So, um, they changed it. You know what? I don't like that frame is red. It doesn't seem right. And I gotta go and look at that specific. Um, okay, so I use a lot of TSMC hyphen Minecraft build ideas, and I adapted it to my own thing. Like for a while there, we had the giant 2-story sized church, but I don't want to go there. It's supposed to be a little white church. That, well, first of all, the song is Little White Church. So there's that, but also that it's supposed to be a lot smaller than the living room at the mansion. Maybe have 30 to 50 people every Sunday, but the problem is that I'm going to have to widen it or something because it's not big enough. Um, yeah, it's really not big enough. Hold on. If you heard that, that would be my sister. Um, like half the time you'll hear my phone going da da, and then oh, you know what? To answer my sister's question, I kind of need to Okay, so she found somebody's picture, and She goes, "What is wrong with this picture?" And um, I went and looked at it real quick, and I'm like, okay, there's a bird sitting on the rainbow, but if you go and try to sit anything on the rainbow, it's suddenly transparent. So there's a bird sitting on there, um, and that bird can't be in the game because it's on Dazzle Beach. For one, oh, I'm sorry, on Dreamlight Valley. Um, Honey, go get your son out of the bedroom, please. Well, then who's messing with the door upstairs? Go find out, please. Because I'm pretty sure you locked your son in the bedroom. Do you got Ben?
I know he's out of the bedroom. I escorted him out myself.
Well, he must have doubled back because he's trying to get out of the bedroom right now. Well?
Amazing how your thing is always more important than anyone else's.
You haven't even loaded into the game.
That's beside the point.
Not really. Somebody was just trying to get out of the door. Well, prove where our kid is. Well, then where is he?
That's a damn good question. I don't see him.
Well, could you check to see if
Bedroom.
he's in the cat cave? You didn't look under the bed, did you?
Yeah, I looked under the bed.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where the brat cat is. Probably hiding somewhere, taking a nap, laughing at you.
No, he was trying to get out of the bedroom a minute ago. I wasn't. Although I suppose it could be the neighbors making really big noises, but why would it sound like it's right here? You know what? I didn't finish my breakfast. So, I do have a small problem. I'm running out of ice. So, I won't have any until um, Friday at the earliest. Okay, so that bird in the picture that I was telling you about is actually Winnie the Pooh, and he's sitting on the rainbow. That, like I said, I think it's usually transparent. Um, see through. I mean, not see through, but not solid. There you go. There. Technically, I could probably take this off. Oh, that's the other thing that we're gonna do. I forgot. Okay. So you see how there's that pathway and the driveway? We're gonna finish those too. The thing is that in the Outsiders, the book, I'm always thinking Two-Bit is like, say, 6'2", 6'4", something like that. Maybe 6'3" and some odd, something like that. And she says 6 foot. So if you go with that, Emilio Estevez, who played Two-Bit in the Outsiders movie, is perfect. But when I was thinking of him, I was thinking of a tall, skinny, um, a tall, skinny person. Not like Emilio Estevez size. But I can't think of who I would be thinking of. And definitely not like Channing Tatum size or Vin Diesel size. Um, I don't know. I'm like, I was kind of thinking Roman from like number two Fast and Furious movie. How he is tall, lengthy, lanky, and panther like. But well, I mean, it doesn't specifically say that they're all white guys. It could have been a black guy. Just saying. That's how I try to write my stories. Is um, I try to write my stories where like if you are a black person, maybe they sound black, or if you're a white person, they're white, or if you're like unless it's otherwise specified. Because in one scene of the one book, it's stated that um, what was it? It was a Chinese guy, I think. Yeah, like it was just mentioned in the story. It didn't actually happen, but there was a bunch of um slaves, literally. They wanted to come to America, but they either didn't know how to get here properly, or didn't have the money to go through the process or whatever. So, this rich guy sold them as slaves. And, but the thing was that Matt busted the human trafficking ring, and he told the guy that he was going to get to go home because Matt used to live at the mansion too. He used to be a pirate, even though he's a cop. He used to be a pirate, and the thing was that um, he knows Chinese, so he explained to the guy, "No, you get to go home. It's okay." And he made him happy to be going back. And knowing him, he probably gave the guy the information they needed to do it, to get back properly. If he wanted to get to America, really, get back properly. Um, but that wasn't actually stated or anything. But the making the guy happy to go home, that is stated in the book. And you know, um, when people make a movie, they don't go and start with the first scene and work their way to the end, as stated on the Nancy Drew movie, where she still has the wrong color hair. They will forever make her brunette, and it specifically says that she's a strawberry blonde. Well, it says Titian haired. I don't know exactly what Titian haired means. Um, she could be, but it specifically says Titian haired. So it sounds like maybe she's a redhead. But I always think of it as strawberry blonde because, because of something that was said in one of the books. But, if she's a redhead, then why wouldn't they make her a redhead? I mean, I know that you can't make it exactly perfect because, copyright and all that, but why a brunette? But I think it said something like Titian haired blonde. So that would be strawberry blonde. And if it's strawberry blonde, then, they could go to blonde. They could go to redhead, not brunette. I personally don't really like how dark my hair is, um, so I think I will be one of the rare exceptions. I won't want my hair to actually be, um, like I won't. I'm pretty sure I won't want my hair to be gray, but I think I'll be happy because it'll be a lighter color than what it is. I used to dye my hair. You know, every chance I got, I would dye it auburn. But when you dye my hair auburn, at first it is bright orange. It's like, don't want to go out of the house orange. And the question is, should the church be in the middle of the street or should it be, I don't mean the middle of the street, but I mean the middle of the block. Should it be in the middle of the block, should it be on the corner? These are things I have to figure out. So, so like, depending on how far I get down this street tomorrow, maybe tomorrow will be the, um, maybe tomorrow will be when we figure out where that church goes. Um, I was kind of thinking in the middle of the street. I don't know why, but I was kind of thinking in the middle of the street. There's 7 houses in a street, and if I have to, um, if I have to, I will, um, what was I trying to say? If I have to, I'll have like, the church on one plot of land and then, the 2 houses on the other side. Or, or since it has to have a parking lot, like it didn't have a parking lot in the dream I was having, but since it should have a parking lot, um, maybe take out enough land that it can have a parking lot. I don't know. It's going to depend on how big that church is. So I've got that church saved in my save for later. Because if I go and try to save it as, like, say, TSMC builds, it used to get cranky about it. Oh, I found out something. I thought the video was totally silent. I don't remember there being music playing. Seriously, but my Oscar Mayer video that I was um my Oscar Mayer mobile video that I was complaining about actually does have music in it. So um I was listening to it yesterday. It actually does have music in it. So I was like, "Aw, okay, that makes sense." And it's been dealt with anyway. I went and made sure that it. Okay, I know if I keep doing this the way that I'm doing it, it's going to take way longer, and I'm never going to finish. Or at least it's going to feel like I'm never going to finish. Okay. And then the driveway. Yeah, so we went and I know I've complained about this before, but we went and made up the Pillsbury um cake. They used to be a good brand, but instead of being a pretty color like this wood here, it was more like a pink shaded yellow cake. And I'm like, that's not what I signed up for. And it didn't taste that good until we put it in the refrigerator. So like um if I started making, like say cake once a week or something like that, I would definitely not go with Pillsbury. But I might go with Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker. I think it was Betty Crocker. I might try the Dolly Parton cake, see if it's any good. I'm kind of glad you got up. Okay, once I finish the face of this, I'm gonna get up and turn the um, air conditioner on. It's getting hot in here. So it'll take a little bit, but um, yeah. So I'm gonna probably only stream until 11 today, like I've been doing for the last few days. Um, and the reason why I'm gonna do that is because I'm working on that story. And the thing is that I'm supposed to be working on the other story. Um, I really am. I'm supposed to be working on the other story, the one that I'm trying to turn into an audio, Test and Love. I'm supposed to be working on that, but the problem is that I'm like, okay, I finally found this. I'm working on it. And the thing is that with in the story that I'm, um, okay, the story is called Slave. And it's not like have a writing crop in your hand and every time he does something you don't like or you're just having an attitude, you smack him with it. It's not that kind. It's that uh, Holly is pretty dang sure that the guy that she finds is the one, but she wants him to stay with her, and the way that she does that on her ship, if she gets one, is she um, handcuffs him to the bed. Well, actually, it's shackles, but the difference between shackles and handcuffs are I didn't know how else I was gonna get the llama off there anyway, so this pink is reminding me of that cake. See, he's a bad llama dad most of the time. But he is walking around with the one. But he lost the other. And I'm sure he's got another lead somewhere. But he just leaves the llama with these guys. They're going to come home and say, oh no, not again. The llama distribution system brought us another llama. Because, what were they? Oh, see, they're raising chickens. Well, I guess, doesn't llamas, like, make llama blankets or something? Or is that just alpacas? Do llamas make good blankets? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Okay. We don't know. I do know. I do know that a family that was going to our church at the time, um, we moved, so we stopped going to that church, and it wasn't really our fault. Um, but there was a family called the Huddlestones, and they were on the rich side and had 2 llamas and a mule. Oh, I was going to say the mule was named Maudine, but I don't think that was it because that was the Dukes of Hazzard. I don't remember what they named the mule, but the mule had a name. And I assume the llamas did too, but I know the mule had a name. Um, but then one day the Huddlestones started falling apart a little bit. I don't even remember their names, and that's horrible. Or their daughter's name. Dang it. Well, maybe I'll get lucky and um she has a son. Unless okay, I should say unless COVID happened. Um unless COVID happened to any of them, they should all still be alive. Well, I don't know about. Oh, wasn't his name Russ? Yeah, I think his name was Russ, but I can't remember anybody else's name. Um, but anyway, it was interesting because oh, Isaac. Isaac was the son. And it was interesting because of the fact that he was born uh with he was born with something to where he couldn't walk properly. So they the doctors worked at it and worked at it and worked at it, and he was walking without the crutches. He had those arm crutches like Grover on the first Percy Jackson. Um, uh, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. See what they did there? They like told you, if you were smart enough to catch up on, pick up on it. They told you that Percy Jackson was not the lightning thief. Because it's Percy Jackson and the lightning thief. You know? Oh, I was going to try to do that for Harry Potter. And I was like, no, that doesn't work. Never mind.
Oh, look, the cat you said I locked in the bedroom. Heavens.
Oh, okay. Well, I just know that somebody was trying to get in or out of that bedroom.
Yeah, probably this one trying to get in. Easy, go fall
Okay.
that way. Time to go fall.
Okay, so Ben is not locked in the bedroom. Update.
No, he's locked in my arms. My husband will send me.
He is locked in Daddy's arms, and Daddy doesn't understand that. Yeah, husband. Um, Daddy doesn't understand that they don't always want to be held. Although they usually do. The boys are cuddle muffins. Now, Bobby on the other hand, she
Head brat brat sometimes.
no, she's just one of those cats that doesn't like to be held all the time. She usually glares when she is being held. So, so my sister quite often stays up until, like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And, um, like I hope they got used to, uh, time in South Dakota because otherwise, she's probably really having a problem now. But anyway, what was I saying? I totally derailed myself. What is in there? Ah, nice. Okay. It is the stuff for the um buildings there. Um, what was I? Oh yeah. So Bobby got used to getting cuddled at like 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, Bobby, I'm trying to go back to sleep, cause your body goes and wakes you up in the middle of the night so you can go upstairs, and then you still want to go back to sleep. And this morning I woke up at like 7 something and needed to do that, and I did, but I wanted to go back to sleep afterwards. So I just went and tried to sleep, but I don't think I did. I think I just kind of laid there trying to go back to sleep. I don't know if I actually did or not, but it was okay. 'Cause oh, yeah, like originally I woke up at 5. I'm like, "Oh man." This was after being woken up at 2 something with the same problem. Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah, but I want to stop at 11 so I can work on that story because not only am I integrating an intro to that story where, it kind of explains what Holly was doing at that point in the story. You, it shows the love 'em and leave 'em attitude, of the whole thing. And it didn't make sense at first because it just, she's not going, yay, I get to go on a date. She's going, I don't even know if he's the right one for me. And it's a first date. So, it's a first date, but he thinks it's going to be a lasting relationship. And, he's kind of like Itsuki on the, Fast and the Furious. I mean, not the Fast and the Furious, sorry. Sorry, Fast and the Furious. Itsuki on Initial D, the the Japanese anime. I think it's Japanese anime. It doesn't look like traditional Japanese anime. It looks, like a regular TV show. Like if it was live action, it looks like a regular TV show. But as a Japanese anime cartoon thing. I'm just saying, like, I mean, they have like the exaggerated facial features like on Dragon Ball Z, but oh, it's this one. Anyway, they have the exaggerated features like Dragon Ball Z, but um, so it just doesn't seem enough to be actually called Japanese anime for some reason to me. But it's really cool. I love it. And I'm suddenly wondering, like for the English speaking version, everybody's white. So I'm like, okay, I don't understand that. It's like this could be a American TV show, you know, but it's not. I'm pretty sure it's Japanese anime, and I love it. I'm not saying I'm gonna watch like a whole bunch of Japanese anime like K-pop Demon Hunters or anything like that, but would you explain to me why? Okay, thank you. I didn't mean you as the audience, I meant the game. Explain to me why I could not put that there when I've done it a million times before. Maybe not a million, because there's not a million houses. There's 63 times. Okay, 63 times like 9 times 2, and then add 63. I know. You're like, word problems, not good. Um, or number problems. I mean, math problems. There you go. You're probably going, math problems, not good. Not my strong suit. Um, but it is pretty simple. Actually, no. Okay, wait a minute. The first street. So it's 63 times. It's like 63 times 9 times 2. That makes it easier. Um, because I'm curious, I think I'm gonna check that out on my phone. Okay. Yeah. So I think it's really weird because if you buy the pizza from Costco, when they first make it, it is so greasy, it's not even funny. It's like you're gonna wash your hands and it's still gonna be greasy. I mean, they're still gonna be greasy. Um, so you wash your hands again and it's better, but or at least they're gonna feel greasy. Maybe they're not gonna be greasy, but they're gonna feel it. So anyway, then you put in the fridge because you got leftover pizza. We usually eat half the pizza and then half the pizza again. The next night. So, like the pizza has, I don't know, 16, I don't know, something like that. Okay, so, I get 4 pieces, he gets 4 pieces the first night, and then the next night, I get 4 pieces, he gets 4 pieces. Anyway, so, except for when it's the, Costco pizza, and then for some reason, he got 3 pieces, I got 3 pieces, and then the next night, he got 3 pieces, I got 3 pieces. And they're not all the same size. It's almost like, I mean, it would almost be better to go and say, just give me the pizza, don't bother cutting it. We've got a pizza cutter, it would probably be better that way. Um, and they don't always separate them exactly the way that, like other pizza places, you go and get their pizza and you can definitely pick up a slice, eat it, don't have to worry about it being still connected to the next one. Usually. Um, but Costco pizza, sometimes it's still connected to the pizza slice next to it. Kind of, it's really annoying, because like usually I want to get that pizza grease just on one hand instead of both, and I pick it up with my left because I'm using the controller with my right, or I'm using the mouse with my right. That's the thing though. I'm working on Slave, and the small problem is that it's got tiny little writing, tiny. Um, it's 11 font on the left side. So the main story, it's on 11, and then there's um I don't know, 18, 24, something like that. 22. That's what it is. 22 on the right side. And I'm having to go from, these big, nice, these nice big letters to these little tiny ones. But the thing that I'm going to do, if I find out that, the whole story is there, like I'm hoping, um, and I think it was, but if I find out that the whole story is there, I'm gonna go and put it into the story file it's supposed to be, because right now, Test and Love is in that story file under the wrong name. And that's because Test and Love has the part where page 1 actually starts on uh, digital paper 5. Like if it was a book, you go 5 pages in, because you've got typically you have the title page, and then the back of the title page is blank. And then on the next page, you've got the um, table of contents. So, like, if you wanted to figure, like, if you've been reading the book, but all of a sudden your bookmark fell out, and you're like, okay, I haven't read this for a week. What part was I on? Because a lot of stuff happens in a week. Oh my goodness. I finally sorted out all of the videos in the list, and working on watching the um, I've been working on watching the Dreamlight Valley stuff to see if there's any information that I missed by playing the game myself. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out if there's like anything I missed or whatever. And I like watching the Suro and Mr. Star and Sky videos, so you know, I plug in my headphones a little bit later and see if I can get it to where I can listen to them. Listen to all those videos with that while I'm working on the other thing. Um, Hold on. So you watching that on your tablet or your phone?
Phone.
Why?
Tablet's upstairs on the charger.
Ah,
Plugging in my thing.
of course. He forgot to plug in his tablet, so he's watching it on his phone.
Why does the world need to know that?
Because I started that conversation with the headset on, so yeah, it's not that big a deal. But what was I saying? I don't know. Whatever. Oh, anyway, so I'm trying to work in the intro, the not introduction, but I'm trying to work in what I came up with for chapter 1 to make it make more sense. And then we're going to go on to um maybe we'll have a few more dates. Oh, like I've been fluffing it out a little bit also. Um I've been adding a few things here and there to make it make even more sense. And um when they uh when Brian comes up and um when Brian comes up to pick up Holly, um Michael the son decides that not decides. He answers the door, leaves Brian on the porch, says stay there, and then he texts Holly and his dad. Not necessarily in that order. So Michael comes out and says, "You hurt my daughter, I'm going to kill you." Yeah, just like any other dad would. Only Michael might actually mean it instead of just, rules for dating my daughter. Don't. Yeah. It's like to repopulate the species or populate the species, however you say that. Yeah, kind of have to have somebody date your daughter at some point, but yeah. Yeah, so she can grow up and have her own family and then have her own headaches with kids wanting to, you know, with her daughter wanting to date some guy. Okay. Then we go here and so yesterday the wandering trader was actually being a good llama dad, which I thought was very weird because normally he would just walk that llama right into the chasm and dropped it. Um, I'll explain in a moment here. Okay, so like, I was putting this. I don't know if it was this one. Actually, I think it was this one. Or no, because I think that was our two. Um, yeah, it was this one. Okay, so I was putting it in this one, and it leaves large gaps. It leaves large gaps like this, and he was making sure to walk llama away from the big gap, and making sure llama was safe. Now, today's wandering trader, he just walked off the roof like I made him do, and he took llama with him. Bad llama dad. But yesterday's llama was very. Thank you. But yesterday's llama dad was not good. A lot of people ask, why does my cat sleep in my lap? Not me personally, but they'll ask themselves, why does my cat sleep in my lap? And it's so they feel protected when when regular cat sleep mode isn't enough. They need a deep sleep. They want to sleep in your lap, so they feel protected. Okay. Don't know why that would have been, but fix now. Not to worry. I know it was Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but I don't remember which episode, and it's kind of bugging me now. Unless it's the one with the witch. And then that totally makes sense. Mm. So we're not actually up up to this spot yet, but we'll do it anyway. Because sometimes I do something, and then I go back to it, and I'm like, why did I do this? And then I turn around, and I find out, oh, it's a parking lot. Okay, I understood that, and I understand that now. It's all good. But sometimes you're like, I don't know about that. Um, Anyway, so the idea is to get to um, this uh, this house here, and then or maybe the one at the end of the street, something like that, and then come and do the rest of the parking lot. Or we can do the parking lot right now and paint houses later. But I said painting houses. I don't know. You want hash browns? Okay. I don't know if I'm going to make them now or if I'm going to wait until after stream, but I will make them. So we get, I want to say it's a Great Value brand, hash brown patties. And, I don't like hash browns. I like the hash brown patties. If Denny's would add hash brown patties to the menu, I would be very happy. I heard a rumor from father-in-law that all of the Denny's are individually owned, so they're kind of like the McDonald's in Fairfield, California area. Well, I think they own Vacaville too, and Vallejo. Anyway, there's a couple named Cece and Regina that own the McDonald's in those areas. So, and they're occasionally not very nice, or at least they have been not very nice in the past, because, like, a girl was new and she gave, like, say 10 napkins, and you're supposed to get, they've got a system, I think, where it's like 2 napkins if you've got this sandwich, and four if you have this sandwich or something like that. And she gave too many napkins, so the guy yelled at her, or well, Cece or Regina yelled at her, and that's not a way to run a business. Heck no. But I also don't think it's okay to hire somebody who only speaks Spanish to be the store manager when you have you have people of other races that work there too. Because I don't just think it was like I was the, as they say, token white person. They usually call them the token whitey. Anyway, I was the token white person, I think, and I couldn't explain to my manager. I might have been able to muddle through, but I couldn't explain to my manager that the assistant manager had to, or yeah, it was assistant manager or shift lead or something like that, had tried to mess me up because I wrote the thing in like it was a $10 bill, because that's what he handed me, and then all of a sudden he said it was $20 bill, and the assistant manager did not count my drawer, and I was $10 short at the end of the night because he said give him the change like it was a 20. Yeah, not okay. Anyway, but this will look really nice when it's done. Yeah, I'm like trying to work on 2 stories at once now, and it's like I know that the one Test and Love is going to suffer. I might get some of it done, but I don't know if I'm going to get all of it done. But I'm trying to go and replace the replace the words of test and love and put in slave. Slave does not have chapters either, so that'll fluff it out a good amount too. You're probably asking why it doesn't have chapters, and that's because that's how it starts out. It gets written, and then I add the chapters later because I don't know where I want the chapters at the time. But I've got this great system that my husband came up with. Do it like a movie, where it's scene by scene. So if they're in the living room and they're not in the car yet, if they're in the living room, they're not in the car yet. Well, technically, Brian's outside the living room because he's on the front porch. But if it's like that, that's one scene where he's getting threatened by Michael. You hurt my daughter, I'm gonna kill you. You know, unalive. And Michael, the brother of Holly, is threatening him that, and your body will get eaten by sharks. The problem is that I have a system where I had a system where um yeah, see, that's not another street, but it is that. So I don't know what that is though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Why? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then we were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would that be 6, 7? Yeah, actually. But okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because otherwise you have to go and wait all the way until that one spot where you can finally get in, and yeah. Okay, yeah. It's supposed to look like a regular street. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will move that if I have to. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's what it's supposed to be is 25, but we didn't have enough. Um, yeah, we didn't have enough room. Okay, so no. No, you know why I avoided it. No. Um, actually, you do know why I avoided it. Because I don't like doing the two stories. Takes too long. I love the two stories. I just, the idea was to go and set it up just right. And, our son was helping me. And he got impatient. And, this houses thing would have taken a lot longer without him. Doing all the bamboo houses and then all the dark wood houses. It would have taken a lot longer. I realize that. But, or maybe the same amount of time. I don't know. But I think it would have taken longer. Um, anyway, so would have taken longer. But it would have been done right. So, which way is better? Here, wait a minute. There she goes snoring again. Oops. Dang. I just thought of that. Um, there's not really a car in the world that would hold four people comfortably in the back. But he says there's four more of us in the back seat. And it's like supposed to be a Mustang. So those guys, depending on what size they are, probably pretty cramped. That's in The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. And that is one of the two movies. I'm not saying Johnny Depp at all for Charlie and Chocolate Factory, but the rest of it is very, very accurate to what happens in the book. Oh, except for Gumshore was Violet in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I've watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory like since I found out about it. We used to borrow it from the library all the time. And my mom was for a while there. I kept calling it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory because that's the book. And she'd say, call it by its real name and we can get it. And so I'd go Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But the book is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that's why the movie is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But I don't like, I really don't like the way Johnny Depp did Willy Wonka in the fact that, okay, first of all, his hair was really weird. But, like, he's supposed to be giddy, happy. There's people here. Yay! He's supposed to be that kind of person. He's not supposed to be, oh, wow, I haven't been around people in years. Did he even read the book? Um, he's not supposed to be, ooh, there's people here. I don't know how to talk to them because I haven't had people in years. He's got the Oompa Loompas. He wouldn't be standoffish. He's excited that there's people going to be coming into his factory so he can show them the place and, try to get an apprentice. And isn't it funny how it works out perfectly the first time? Um, but I don't know that Roald Dahl is or isn't alive to argue the point. I just think it's, a little interesting that it worked out perfect the first time. It's better that way, but, like some of the people that my characters date are go out with them for a while and then there's some kind of thing that stops them from dating that person. And, it wasn't an important part in the plot. It just was something to keep this story going. So, because, like, at one date, in one book, Craig is dating a girl named Rita. And I can't remember. Oh, I got it. I probably got it from Ghost or Rita Perlman. One of those two. If you don't know who that is the mom on the movie Matilda with Danny DeVito and Mara Wilson. And then if you want another reference, she's also Mona? I think her name's Mona on Cheers. So I don't know if she normally has dark hair or if she normally has the blonde hair, but she's got one of those two hair colors and um well since she's willing to dye her hair to get the part, um since she's willing to dye her hair to get the part, um maybe the dark hair was the dye and she's really a blonde. I don't know. I just, I was like looking at her going, she looks familiar. And then I'm like, oh my gosh. Actually, it might be Rhea, not Rita. You know what? Now I need to look it up. I was going to look up the other thing I forgot. Um, you know what? I'll just look up Matilda. Ma, no, Tilda. Yeah, that one. Okay, but what is her name? That's hilarious, but what's... Rhea. I'm sorry. Her name's Rhea. And, um, in that one, she has lighter brown hair. I remember it being kind of a dark color on Cheers, but I haven't watched that in years, so I may be wrong. My brain may be filling in gaps that aren't there. Yeah, Rhea Perlman is Rhea. And then Danny DeVito was the dad, and Pam Ferris was Miss Trunchbull, and Mbeth Davids is Miss Honey. Oh, and then since he's there, Michael Wormwood was played by Brian Levinson. So, I wasn't going to say that one. I was just going to stop at Miss Honey. And then I was like, well, okay. I hope that if he stayed with acting, that he's um, even better at acting now. Because, he played the, big brother, second banana person, and he did a good job. But, like, the first thing that you see him doing is Matilda's, finally come home from the hospital, and he's waving a baby rattle, looking like he's pretty much going, the. So, but he did good in the rest of the movie. You know, it's kind of funny because he's only in a little bit of the scenes. And then like he must be in the car. I guess he must be in the car in that scene just before Miss Honey signs the paperwork and adopts Matilda. Because, he wasn't in that scene at all. It was just the two parents. I used to have, don't know if I still do, but I used to have a copy of Matilda on CD. And I had a downloaded copy on my computer, but I don't know what I did with it. It's probably on an external that I don't know if it works or not. Hopefully. Okay. That's. I'm gonna get that in a moment. Um. Yeah, that's all pinkish. That's all pinkish. That's all pinkish. That's all pinkish. Okay. So, just need to. This is crimson. Actually. I know purple isn't a very good color for a house, but I would like purple wood. I know there isn't like really a purple wood, but as far as I know, there's not really a pink wood. There's pink flowers on the tree. It's like say this color on the trunk, and then it's beautiful. Oh, okay. So it's like it's like a dark wood on the trunk, and then there's beautiful trees. That's not what I meant. Um, so what I should do is go around and that's a later project. Um, or like people say that's a later me project. And it's like, well, yeah, who else is gonna do it? It's your world. But yeah, that's a later project that I can work on another time. So it is 10:07 now. I don't know if anybody wants me to give the time, but like I want to try to stick to my word and actually do what I said I was going to do, which is get off at 11 because then I can go and work on my story and get everything into the file that I need to get in there. I'm starting, like I said, I'm starting out with the first chapter kind of thing, and then I'm gonna, um, like I had her. Okay, so she's out on a date with Brian, and they went to, um, it's called the Submarine Sandwich Shop. So basically it's Subway, but it could be Quiznos. It could be um, um, like Panera Bread. I don't know what they do at Panera Bread. I have no idea. Um, anyway, it's one of those places where you can get a submarine sandwich. Like in Tahoe and here in Carson City, you can go to Porta Subs. But anyway, they went there, and she's totally flirting with the guy behind the counter. She's been going, I don't know if I actually want to date this guy or if I just want to be his friend. And the whole book, it's only a few pages, but the whole book, so far she's been going, I don't know if I want to date this guy. And so, she gets to submarine sandwich shop, and she's flirting with the guy behind the counter. And what was his name again? Jeff. Okay. So she's flirting with Jeff. Jeff is flirting back. Jeff happens to have a photographic memory. I figured that made him worthy to do something else later. Um, and that he would get that right. And then anyway, and then he would get that right, and she'd be happy for the moment, But okay, that's all done, right? Just making sure that nothing is in the wrong spot. Because You do use a lot of wood to make houses, and it looks really nice. But it's usually the supporting beams, you know. Okay, let's take this up to the next. I don't really need to have that actually because. Okay, there we go. Anyway, I don't really need to have that. I just have that because I did that on all the other streets because this is the only street that needs houses painted. Thank you, Sheepy. Can you go a little further? Thank you. Now I'm gonna open this up. Don't get out of the yard. Good, Sheepy. So I can't really tell. I can't really hear the story that I'm listening to, which is The Outsiders. Um, but I know just now they had to have been at the part where the bad guys tried to drown Ponyboy because um, it was they've gone too far, and then they're sitting there, and I don't think the movie showed that very well either. Um, like if they went and remade The Outsiders, I don't know if they've got like a contract to where they can't or something because I don't think they've ever remade it. But like if they ever did remake The Outsiders, you know what? I'm just gonna take this out. Anyway, if they ever did remake The Outsiders, I wish they would, make it more like the book. So it's more, I mean, it's a little more action packed because at that scene they really are. They're trying to drown him. Um, so and they don't seem to care that like he needs to breathe and stuff. Um, but anyway, they're trying to do that, and so Johnny goes up there and they could do it like Mother Gothel, where you don't see anything except for the aftermath. Um, they could do it like that. I think it would work. Oh, that's another thing I need to do apparently. Right now though, we do have a small problem where we don't know uh if this tracks is going to end up going um if this street is going to be it or if there's going to need to be um more tracks on the other side of the street or something. We don't know yet. I think I've built part of the I think I've built part of the parking lot behind the movie theater, and I'm not even sure about that. We'll have to go and figure it out and figure out what buildings we need where. And the Civic Center actually is as true to life as I could get it. That's smart. Anyway, the Civic Center is as true to life as I could get it. So, we're going to have to work on that too. Would you stop? I keep, like, getting on the track and then blown off course. Okay. I keep seeing it to where it looks like it didn't take it out and it really did. So, I don't know. Oh yeah, that definitely was a drowning scene. Um, because now he's talking about not Tim Shepard, but Buck Merrill. I'm like, I know it ain't Tim Shepard. What?
Somebody making these stories has a definite issue with the name Whitmore.
Maybe that was their HOA, Karen.
It's quite possible because it's always Karen Whitmore. Maybe it's just the one channel. I don't know.
Wait. Oh, went in. Okay. Um, thing is that people go and make those HOA Karen videos, and my husband says it's usually Karen Whitmore that they're complaining about. So I was thinking personally that probably the ones writing those specific stories had a uh, had an HOA Karen that was Karen Whitmore. I don't know if I'm right. Just sounds logical, you know. Um, okay. I was working on this project yesterday, so some of them are done and some of them are so not. Okay, I don't know if there's a Marcus in his story, but it sounded like somebody said Marcus, and for some reason I was thinking Marcus Welby MD. Used to be a TV show. And that's all I know about it. That's literally all I know about it. I was thinking that, like, how do they know, and the outsiders, how do they know that they don't have a little baby soda or Dally or, whoever out there? How do they, what was this? See, that's case in point. What is this? I don't know. I'll take it out. I don't know what it was, and probably doesn't matter anymore. Oh, right. Oh. It matters. Okay, that's why I had that. That's to tell me. Yeah. Okay. That's to tell me that this driveway was next. But if you don't tell me that that's what it means, I may forget. And I just did this yesterday, so I shouldn't have forgotten. Anyway, I try to make these streets look as accurate to real life as possible. Of course, I messed up the road, and I think it looks pretty nice. On like Street 6, I think it is, my husband made some really nice front gates to the yards. You know what? I just thought of that. Not every house has a yard. But that's what I did because I wanted to establish what was um, what was, say, these guys' property versus what's those guys' property. But I'm saying, like, everybody doesn't have um a gate. I mean, a fence. But I made sure everybody had a fence because that way we can tell between the two. I was thinking of making one of those HOA Karen videos and, um, or at least an HOA Karen story. But I don't know if I can just call it an HOA Karen story or, like if I wanted to make it a book, I don't know if I could make it an HOA Karen story or if I'd have to like, or, like Lost House, an HOA Karen story, something like that. I don't know if I can do that because, like, what if that, the HOA Karen part of it? What if the HOA Karen part of it is copyrighted? And I may not actually name the lady Karen. I don't know who the I don't know the name of our HOA person, so what if it's HOA Steve or something, Steve was first name that popped in my head, so if you have the name Steve, I wasn't like making a I knew that that person's name is Steve, and I wasn't going there. Um okay. Oh, wait, yeah. Okay, that needs to be put back where it belongs. There we go. I don't know why I'm saying this like Valley Girl, but anyway. Um, like the stereotypical Valley Girl. I don't mean like the one that, um, the one that everybody thinks about when they're thinking about Valley Girls. The one that couldn't be bothered to pump her own gas in the movie Earth Girls Are Easy. And it's like, can you move, please? I need some unleaded. She's got the hot pink car. I hope the actress who played that role actually is, smart and doesn't use her womanly wilds to get what she wants. That's the problem. I would probably go with the um that's what I would probably write in though, is that, HOA Karen is, like super beautiful and she's used to getting what she wants because uh because guys take one look at her and, what would you like, ma'am? You know, and then she gets that female judge that throws the book at her. I don't know, but yeah. So so I've got an idea of what I would like our house to look like if we were able, like if we were financially able to get, if we were financially able to get the um the house of our dreams. I want it to have a movie theater room, not a not necessarily a movie theater, but a movie theater room. Um, and as long as Heavenly Village Cinema is there, I would like to go in there and ask them if between movies, of course, I could go in and take pictures of exactly what I want to see in that theater room. Because, if I become a famous author one of these days, wouldn't it be nice to have my dream home? Um, so I want that, and I want an indoor swimming pool. It has to be indoor because, um, it has to be indoor with, with security cameras. So, like, my husband's playing video games with his friends and something goes wrong, like, all of a sudden I get a leg cramp or something like that, he can, see it right away and go, oh, and get his butt in there, that kind of thing. And he wants a large kitchen. I want literally two living rooms, the size of the one that we're in right now, on either side of that kitchen. And I want at least two bathrooms in the place. I would probably like more than that, but just in case. Like say I'm on for some reason I'm on his side of the room. Um and I have to go, but I don't want to use his because, maybe there's a plumbing problem or something like that. They have a backup bathroom. We've had that problem before where there was definitely a plumbing problem. But that's usually when we live in an apartment and they don't have the most up to date equipment with their plumbing. So it's like you would think that they would have the most up to date stuff because they've got people living in their place, but they don't. But anyway, we want to have that, and like I said, the kitchen, and then maybe a separate living room, so like when people come over, you can sit and talk to everybody, and maybe like L-shaped couches in the other two living rooms with footrests and all that stuff. Um, and then like 4 bedrooms. But the only reason why I want 4 bedrooms is because, that way if my sister needed to come live with us for some reason, um, we'd have a place to have her stay. Or like if we're hosting Thanksgiving, that's really far away for some of our family to get to. But if we're hosting Thanksgiving and literally saying just show up, don't bring food, just show up, unless you want to bring food. I think that would be really good, really, really awesome. And oh yeah, and I want to have like normally you have support walls, but I also want to have like uh like I think they call them load bearing walls in one movie. Oh, probably Sleepless in Seattle. I'm not entirely sure. Was that Sleepless in Seattle? That doesn't sound right for some reason. I know that she wanted to put in like a huge Sub-Zero refrigerator or something like that. And, she needed a refrigerator big enough for her platters, and she didn't have room for her platters in that particular refrigerator. She wanted to get the bigger one, and she goes, uh, I mean, they're telling her that, well, that's going to take longer, and we're going to have to rip out the cabinets, and because everything that she finds wrong with the design, they always have to rip out the cabinets. So anyway, they kind of made it sound like the cabinets are the hardest part, so having to rip them out is a bad thing. But she goes, the important thing is that it gets done right. Um, and if you, oh, well, okay, if you don't know who the heck I'm talking about, I don't have any more examples except for the same time period, pretty much, where she was also Cousin It's wife on the Addams Family movies, where Raul Julia was playing Gomez. Something happened and he passed away. I don't remember what they said. I know that Jim Henson, he had a really bad cold and it got worse, and that's why he's no longer with us. He didn't go see a doctor about it. Or at least that's what they said. And I'm sad about that because the Muppets should have never gone to Disney. Never. I mean, because think about it. Can you imagine, like, Kermit the Frog saying something like, I got impaled? Or, or Miss Piggy saying, crazy chest exercise? It doesn't work. Although that one I thought had way too many, adult level references to begin with, so. I mean, adults understand crazy chest exercise. Kids are going to be like, Mom, what's that? Now, if that's Disney's idea of, how to handle things now, they really need to rethink. Because, you know, kids' movies, they're supposed to be kid level. But somebody's like trying to raise the bar, where they learn weird stuff. And I don't necessarily like that. They should learn impaled in like junior high, maybe sixth grade. But on the other hand, they should also, like, I think maybe in school or at the doctor's or something like that, they had to work on mental health too. Because if you're that kid that got bullied every day in, every day in fourth grade or whatever, you may not be on the level to learn about impaled. Sorry, that's the only example I ever think of, but yeah, I don't like that. They use big words or big phrases for like splash sensation or something, and it bugs me because, I can just imagine some kid going, Mommy, what does impaled mean? Did they think of that? No. Because then Mommy has to go and try to explain that. And, like, Disney probably thought it was self explanatory and he's just a snowman, so, you know, you get him off that stick and he's okay now. Or was it a icicle? Anyway, whichever. Um I haven't watched that in a while. I did watch that this year though. I think I think I've watched that this year. If not, I definitely watched it last year. Um, I used to have, like at least once a week, me and Ben would watch Frozen because he had a big crush on Anna. And then he happened to be not in the room, but in the house listening when we are watching Frozen 2 and Anna broke his heart. Anna really, really broke his heart. They don't say Anna, they say Anna. So if you're wondering who the hey Anna is, that's how they say it. And, next time you watch Frozen, listen to how they say it, and then you'll be like, oh, it is. Oh boy. Um. Anyway, this story that I'm trying to fix right now is one that I've wanted to fix for a while, and I keep wondering why it's not showing up on my phone. Well, now I know. I assumed that it would be book 31 either way, and I just didn't know what the title was of the actual book. So then I finally found it, and I'm like, I'm piecing them together right now. I'm like, I need to do this, and then that way it'll be on my phone when I need to read it. Hopefully it'll be even better. Hopefully it'll be even better. But, like, there's still the chance that, there's a your that got mixed up somehow. What? I thought I just. I just fixed that to where that was there and that was gone. Or this was gone, whichever side it was. And then I'm looking at it going, why is that back again? Um, if I care, I will go back through there and see. Okay, but you better be nice to her. And if you're looking for Sam, he's over there in his book, in his box, in his book. Ben, you okay? He's taking it slow. He's our oldest, so I'm a little worried for him. Thing is that I really don't want our cats to pass away, but if one does, it would make it easier finding a place because usually they'll say 2 cat maximum or something like that, or you can sob story them that the reason why it took both of them is because they're sisters and they because they really are or really were. Coral's no longer with us, so she can't be a sister anymore. Um, but anyway, and they're so small, and they're all each other has in the whole world, or whatever I actually said. And they're like, okay. Because they really did have a one cat limit. And it's like, have you ever had just one cat? There are those cats that, they're fine being the belle of the ball, being the only cat in the house. Happy, happy, joy, joy. But then there's other cats that they need a fur companion, and, they want another cat around. That's definitely Ben and Sam. But Bobby's like, I like watching you two, but I ain't hanging out with you. Of course, I think that's because maybe they've got some kind of, I don't know. I think that's because they got like some kind of, um, how like, boy animals can tell that it's a girl because it smells better. Something like that. But like in this case, it's um, it's a call to leave them alone because they're boys. I don't know, but that might be the reason in a nutshell that that term really doesn't make any sense to me, but I really want to know who came up with that term and why. And I keep thinking walnut shell, peanut shell, some kind of small nut. What if they were a coconut person? That would make sense. You know, I mean, the term still doesn't make sense, but it would make more sense. And I want to know if that's like a California term or if that's like something that they use in the South and it came over here too, or what. Anybody got an answer, please put in the comments below and please be nice about it. Okay. Like don't put it all in caps because, it's obvious to you and it's just not obvious to me. Um, but, I keep giving that reference too that, in school one time we had um, we had a, uh, assignment where we're supposed to take something that seems duh to us because we know how to do it and try to explain how to do it to somebody else. And I think I failed miserably. It's like I know how to do it. But I didn't really know how to explain it. So like that's something that if I would have had I mean it was a writing assignment, but that's something that I probably would have um that I probably would have brought a video in if I would have had it. But this was like 5th or 6th grade probably. And so you're like supposed to try to explain in my case it was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I thought that was pretty easy and then I started doing it and I'm like, no. I mean, I started trying to explain it and it's like, no, that's not easy. Okay. Well, we'll get most of the stuff done, and then maybe just while I'm no, I want to work on my story. I was gonna say maybe I'll continue this um today. I probably will explain. I mean, explain it. I probably will come up with something later, but I don't know when. Um, like I'm thinking later today, but I don't know if I'm gonna be done by then, because I need to. No, 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 no. I need to go and set up chapters and stuff, and I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. 'Cause usually I don't read the whole thing in one day. I usually take a few days, 'cause I don't read fast. I I don't really think I read slow either, but I don't read fast. And since this is a story I don't read that often, but I do love it. Since this is a story I don't read that often, I don't have like large parts of it memorized. Um, you know, like the ones that I'm trying to audio right now, I've got large parts of that memorized. So, um, so the thing is though, oh, that's what I started to say earlier, is that I write it like a movie sometimes where this is this needs to happen over here and this needs to happen over there, but we don't necessarily know how to get from, point A to point B at that part. So, we write the one part and then we write the other part and eventually connect them up later. It's not always, um, it's, it's not as easy as it seems on the TV show Murder, She Wrote, because she's sitting there during a storm in one of the episodes and she's typing and she goes, please, I just need, you know, I just need to get to the end of the sentence and I'll be done, for the night anyway. And of course, that's when the electricity goes out. So when you're typing on a typewriter, it's not necessarily plugged into the wall. She's got an old school typewriter that, you have to use whiteout if there's a problem, and you can't go back through and strike it out and write it over again or whatever. Or like we do nowadays on the computer, you just go and delete what you wrote and uh, do it over again. It's so easy to write stories now. I love it. I used to have to write my stories on paper, and I still got a lot of those papers. I'm not saying I have every single one of them, but I do have a lot. And yeah, so some of the ideas get into the stories, and then some of the other ones don't make it. But it is so nice writing stories now. I always wanted a typewriter, but I was like, I can't type, so I was a really good hunt and peck typer though, because my dad made games on the um he made like an Atari style game on uh um what was it? Anyway, he made Atari style games for me to play on the computer, but it was always it was usually supervised. because he was so afraid I was going to mess up something on the computer. And, thinking of it nowadays, he probably should have just taught me how to do it right in the first place. Because I am so afraid of messing up something on the computer that if I have um, even a little problem, I will usually ask my husband to be there for me just to make sure I get done right. And then he gets so annoyed because he's like, "When did I say I was the computer expert? In Tahoe? And ever since I met you? Hello?" And then he goes and gets upset at me because, I'm like telling him, yeah, what I just said. And it's like, if you don't want me to remember something, don't tell me it. It's kind of stupid. I will remember a lot of what he says in a conversation, but if I go and try to remember something from one of my stories, it's like, how'd that happen again? And then I go and read it and I'm like, oh yeah. And then it immediately goes right out of my head again. Anyway, um, like I said, I'm gonna try to, um, I'm gonna work on that story today. Uh, I was fluffing it out a little bit, adding stuff that I thought made the story a lot better because, like, Holly and Jeff are like really flirting with each other at the submarine sandwich shop. Jeff is the guy that's going to make her sandwich, and Brian's over there going, "Hey, you're my date," and she goes, "So it doesn't mean that I can't uh, shop around for the next person, the next date, whatever she said." And I should have had Brian, frown upset or something like that, but I didn't. Oh, you see what I just did? This doesn't need a driveway. Oh well, I'll fix it. So I don't know why I just remembered that, but there was a house at the end of our street. The people spoke Spanish, and I don't remember what the problem was, but they had a fence, and then they had that part that rolls to the side so you can get into um, you can get into the driveway or go out of the driveway. And I was always warned, don't go too close to that house. If they try to invite you in or something like that, don't do it. And it's like, I wonder if it's because they were Hispanic or if it was just because, having that rollaway piece for your fence was creepy at the time. I don't know. That could have been like a, um, usually it's like the Russian consulate or the German consulate or something like that. But, like it could have been, something totally innocent, like it's a place to have foreign dignitaries from Hispanic countries come and just relax for a few days. Although I don't know why you would have it, a little place in Suisun, California, but yeah. But I was always told, be careful around that house. I don't know why. Suddenly wondering. Wonder if any of those people who used to live in that neighborhood, because that street's no longer there, um, Well, it's kind of there. There's a bunch of houses, and you like park in the back, or you park on the street. Um, but you like park behind the house, I guess, and go in the back door. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but so there's like a road there. So technically, I guess the street is still there, but the street where the front door is called Bay Street now. And that's part of the reason why I named the street that Brandon's friends live on. Well, Brandon and his girlfriend Allison. Um, the street that their friends live on is called Cherry Street because that's the one that I grew up on, and I can totally tell you that um um you know we lived at 711 Cherry Street, and our phone number was 427-7447. And I kind of thought that it was neat because, MASH had sevens in it because it's the 4077th. Um, anyway, MASH had sevens in it, and our place had a bunch of sevens. Please don't call that number well, I didn't tell you the area code, so anyway, please don't call that number because somebody might have it now. I don't know. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. I could walk to school. I didn't have to take a bus. Although I was always jealous of the kids that got to take the bus. So, like, when we went on field trips or something, I was like, we get to ride the bus. I wasn't thinking of it like now, where it's like, oh, I get to ride the bus. Yay. Yeah. Although, since COVID, you can't get me to ride the city bus unless I absolutely have to. Because they made you wear a COVID mask, and there was a rule that if you had asthma, you didn't have to wear it because you're like causing more asthma to happen instead of less. So I kept telling them I can't breathe in this thing, and they were like, I don't care, wear it. It's like, fine. I couldn't afford to go see the doctor and have them say, yeah, she's got asthma, she doesn't have to wear it. I don't, though, technically. I don't have asthma, but I do have asthma in the family, and there's been a lot of times when I felt like I couldn't breathe properly. So, doctors keep telling me, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Like, what medical school did you go to? No, not being able to breathe properly. It may not be officially all the way to asthma, but, it's not okay. Okay, anyway. How close am I to the end there? Oh, that one right there with the blue. Okay, so we're almost there. Dang it. Okay, so it's 11:01. I'm gonna finish this, doing the last few houses since we're that close, and then we will hop off. So obviously, I've been talking about it just about the whole time. I write books, and they are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. They ship everywhere that Amazon ships to, and they are available for free shipping on orders of $25 or more. Now, I think I'm the only person crazy enough to tell you how much the merch that they're trying to sell costs online, because you might get deterred from buying it just because I tell you how much it is. But literally, I only get $2, $5, or $7 from each book. So please help and buy my books. Um, anyway, Pirate's Daughter, Misfortune, and Hard Times are $26 each. And I'm going to try to stick with that $26 because I think that's a lot easier. I know it sounds a lot, but it's hardback. So, that's actually cheap for a hardback book. And then Esperanza's Party is 24, The Island is 25, and Lessons to Love is 27. I was trying to stick to that 26, but it kept dictating what I was allowed to charge for each book, and I don't know why. So, anyway, I think the algorithm was having problems that day. And then Coral is not available in hardback at this time. So there's 7 of my books on. There's 7 of my books to choose from on Amazon at the moment. And for paperback, Coral is a lovely bargain at $6, and all of the others are $20 each. And then Coral is $2.99 for the ebook. Pirate's Daughter and Esperanza's Party are $3.05 for the ebook, and all of the others are $5 each. Oh. Then, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. I haven't been having Twitch open the last few days because I've been so busy trying to get all of those YouTube videos watched, and it's just been driving me crazy. They went and did a number on me apparently, and like every YouTuber I have watched, like every YouTuber that I like to watch came out with a video like every single day. It seemed like I'm exaggerating, but it seemed like they came out with one every single day, and there's a lot of videos yet to watch. I probably will catch up. I don't know. I'm sure trying. I'm trying to watch the Dreamlight Valley videos first because I really need to know what's going on in, or well, I really need to know what's going on, but on the other hand, I've done everything. So the only thing that I can't remember how to do is the sizzling thing with the marshmallows. Um, so the sizzling thing with the marshmallows, it's going to be a um, thing I catch up on. The Really, it just went. I put that there and it just poof. Usually it takes 3 tries. Weird. Um, anyway. There we go. Um, yeah, that made me forget what I was saying. But anyway, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. And if you are watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe. We need 1,000 subscribers. Please help me out there. Oh, okay. We're good. We're done. Anyway, please help me out there. have actually gone through here and found out that I don't have all the pieces that I was supposed to be having in there, but which is really weird. Okay, so okay, subscribe, notification bell. Um, so maybe you'll know what my next video is. You'll be notified because sometimes YouTube messes up and doesn't tell you, and then you have to go looking for it. But hopefully it'll work. Um, like I've had videos where it definitely came out when it was supposed to come out at 11 o'clock, whatever day. And then I've had other days where it's 2 o'clock already and that 11 o'clock video isn't going out like it's supposed to. But everybody on YouTube will, see Dreamlight Valley videos until day after tomorrow or the day after. No, the day after that. For the next few days. So hopefully everything will calm down by then and I can go back to, trying to be regular schedule. I still have to take father-in-law to dialysis tomorrow and Wednesday and Friday, and hopefully that'd be really nice. Hopefully, maybe he'll get an early chair again. I think that worked out pretty good. Um, we were able to have dinner at dinner time. We usually do, but we have been super busy lately. Anyway, and please get those valid public watch hours up. We need 4,000 of those. So we just need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 valid public watch hours, and then I think I can get monetized or at least get up to the next level to find out what I need to do. Hopefully monetized. Anyway, because I would like to make some kind of money. See, our friend Sid told me that it would only be enough to get a candy bar, and that would be kind of okay. Just set it up to where the money goes into my savings account or goes into my checking and then my savings. I'm probably going to put it in my savings though. If I can have it go directly into my savings. And then every time I need to use that money for something, it's right there. Just transfer it over and it's all good. And it'll gain interest in the meantime, Hopefully I won't ever have to use it, and but I want to be able to use that money for good also. Do some giveaways, do some kitty cat. Do some giveaways and get some good food into that food bank because people need it more than ever now. Assuming it's still there. My mother-in-law said it was, so they were supposed to get a delivery, and we never got over there. Thing is that she thinks I do nothing but sit on my butt all day waiting for her to call. And that's not how it works. Also, like I said, there's 7 of my books to choose from on Amazon, and except for Coral, they are all, I think it's pink on the top and black on the bottom. Not entirely sure. Usually I have my book right there on the bookshelf, but we packed it, so I know that we'll be able to put it in the truck and it'll be safe. Anyway, so I will continue working on this a little bit while I'm waiting for those hash browns to cook, and I will see you in the next stream or video.